Welcome RPA champions, I am the RPA champion, and in today's video we are going to be seeing how to extract tables from web pages. Now we are going to learn a method that is going to allow us to extract any kind of table that can be huge tables on any kind of web page in a way that is most of the time going to work. Now why do I say most of the time? Because every web page is different. Every web page maybe uses some kind of different technology or a different way to display tables. So on the way that I will show you today, it's going to work on many of these pages. Now we are going to be seeing a standard way of extracting data from data tables, and we will also see a more complex way of doing so. Now this is really important because one main feature or one main activity of automation is to extract this data from different web pages and then use this data in whatever way we want. So without further ado, let's jump into the video and see how this works. Alright, so what we are going to do is we are going to extract all of these values and put it into an Excel sheet. Now this is all of the cryptocurrencies that are available in the market, and there is approximately 20 per page, and there is 246 pages. Now if my math is correct, that is 2 times 246, that would be maybe like 500. Add a 0, that would be 5,000. I believe 5,000 different cryptocurrencies available almost, yes. Alright, so what we want to do is extract all of this data and put it into an Excel sheet. Then we could do whatever we want with this data. We could filter it, find the highest one with the highest change, send it via email, flag it, send it to us as a reminder, or even trigger some actions like buy or sell. So let's get started right away with Power Automate. Now I have created a blank flow in Power Automate. Now the fastest and first thing that I'm going to do is use the web recorder and start recording actions. So let's use Chrome, and we see that already the first page that is created is the coin market. So it's going to launch the web browser, it's going to go here. Now what we want to do next is we want to extract all of these values and put them in an Excel sheet. So I will right click on Bitcoin. Well, first I will need to start recording, and then I will right click on Bitcoin and select extract. The next thing I will do, I will select the price, click extract, and let's just get one more value. All right, I have selected these 3 values, and this will be the values that will be extracted. However, you see that only 3 values are selected right now. I would like to select all of the values on this page. Now to do that, I will just go to the following row, select Ethereum, and you see that all of the different values have been highlighted with a dotted line. And if I scroll down, we see that almost all of the values have been selected. Now value 19 and 20 haven't been selected because this page loads all of the data as you scroll down. We will fix that, but for right now that is fine. Now usually what I would do is I would select the next element and set this as a pager. Now I would do this, we should do this later and not right now. So alright, that is pretty much everything that we would like to do right now. So let's click finish and see what we have created. Not a lot, just 2 actions. The first action is obviously to launch Chrome and navigate the correct web page. Now we're going to do a small modification. We're going to maximize the window when we open this so that it is in full view. Now let's launch our process and let's output the data in an Excel spreadsheet. So let's launch the process and see what happens. It is going to the correct web page, and it has opened an Excel sheet, and we see that it has 17 results. So it has extracted all of the values already and put them in the first 17 rows. Now that is pretty amazing. Why? Because we have already in a few minutes created an automation that has extracted the first 17 rows out of this table. That is not all of them. We need to extract the remaining 4,000 something rows. So let's go back and close our Excel that we don't need. and all of the different examples and tries that I was using before this. All right, so the next step would be to put all of this in view so that this data, that all of the data would be selected. Now I could do this in different ways. I could just scroll down a little bit, or I could put an element down here into focus or in view. Now let's scroll down maybe a little bit. So to do that, I would send keys, and I would send the down arrow keys. So let's find down arrow keys down, but I would probably need to send it a couple of times. So let's see what happens when I send one arrow key down. So it moves a little bit. So I would probably have to add quite a few of them. So let's add quite a few of these arrow keys. All right, I believe that should be enough. Another thing that I could do is probably maybe shrink the web page and maybe make it smaller. I think that would be actually faster. I just thought about it. Let's try this method, and then we could try shrinking the web page a little bit. All right, let's play this and let's see if we can get all of our 20 values from the page. Now, keep in mind that not all tables are like this, not all web pages are like this, but in this example, we have a table that is actually pretty complex and difficult to automate and to extract all of the values. Why? One reason is because the data is loading as we scroll down, and the other reason is because there is so many values and we have to go through the different values. Now we see that now we have all of the different 20 values instead of just the 17. Now let's add all of the remaining values. Now let's close this and go back to our automation. Now what we could do is we should use usually this extract data from web page and find the remaining values. So, or find the pager that is going to allow us to go to the next page. So if we go to advanced settings and we use pagination, this is going to enable the pagination, but we could also just select on different elements. And for example, if I just click here for 1 second, I could, let's refresh. And this is not connecting right now, so let's wait for it for a second, or let's just open it again. So let's go back here, and here we go. So what we want to do is we want to find this pager or an element that is going to allow us to cycle through all the different pages to arrive until page 246. So I assuming there is different elements, so I could select different elements. Not necessarily all of them are going to work, so I'm going to try to select this one. Select element as pager. So this is what we need to do, and we see once that happens that we have a new row that has been added to our page. So let's click finish, and now we see that something has happened. So we have extracted data, only the first. So this has changed from all available to only the first, and we can put, for example, 246 pages to extract. Now let's see if this is going to work. And if this is going to work, we would have already extracted all of the table inside of an Excel sheet in just a few minutes. Now for some reason we see that it is clicking on the back button instead on the forward button. So let's see why that is, or let's try to fix that. So let's stop this automation. Let's open the extraction panel, and we can see that we have actually selected this, but for some reason the other button is clicking. So maybe let's try selecting, let's maybe try clicking on, or maybe let's try selecting, I'm not really sure why this is happening. So what we could do is we could maybe click on button 246 and then just let it go back all of the way. Or we could think of another way that would be maybe more stable or more resistant to failure. So this method, it doesn't seem that is working really a lot. So in this case, I would want to show you a different way of how we could extract this same data. But before we do that, let's try clicking on 246 and then seeing if this button is going to work and allow us to go back and cycle through all of the different buttons. So let's very quickly spy this button. So let's use Google Chrome and let's start recording and just use it to click on button 246. So let's lead the first action, pause the recording and finish. This is going to add the action automatically. So let's add our action right here. And after that, let's play our process. So what should happen theoretically right now is that our process should go to page 246, and after that it should have cycled through all the different pages, but that didn't happen. Now, not really sure why this doesn't seem to be very stable. Probably because these selectors, we could go and play around with the selectors. I believe the selectors that are not very stable. That's why, or they're changing every single time, because this could be a React web page. Having dynamic CSS selectors doesn't allow it to integrate or spy correctly. So what we would do, or what we could do, is find the right CSS selector or use another method that could be faster. So in this example, for example, we can see that the links to the web pages changed to 246 from probably 1 or 2. So if I go to 2, I would be on page 2. So what we could do is we could create a loop that is going to go from page 1 to page 256. Now let's do that really quickly and see if that is going to allow us to create an Excel that is going to have all of those values. So let's look for, let's launch an Excel file. That is going to be the first thing that we have to do. So let's just search for Excel. So let's launch the Excel file and let's find an Excel file that we want to open. So I will use this file. And we don't need to set any other parameters. So what we're doing is we're launching an Excel file, and what we're going to do after that, we are going to write to an Excel file. So we're going to write an Excel file, and we're going to write the instance of let's see which Excel file did this create, which instance, Excel instance number 2. Okay, so we are going to write to that Excel instance. And the values to write are going to be these values. So the column and a row. So the column is going to be, we're going to find these values dynamically. So let me show you how we are going to do that. So we are going to do that by using the, let's see where it is. Here we go. So by using the get first free column row from Excel sheet, this is going to allow us to find the first available row or column in the Excel sheet. So let's select the, what are we using? The Excel instance 2. So from our Excel document, we're going to find the first available rows where we can put our data in, basically. So we are going to get that data and or those values, and we're going to put them right here. So these are the two variables that have been created: first free column and first free row. So the column is always going to be column A, and the row is going to be dynamic, so it's going to be first free row. So let's click on save. So right now we have launched an Excel file. We have gotten the first available place where we can write the data, and then we are writing the data. But we have to move this all the way down. So after we have extracted the data inside of Excel instance, the naming convention, I apologize for it, it's a little bit bad. After we have extracted the data from here, we are going to input the data inside of our Excel sheet. So let's see if this is going to work on this web page. Now let's remove this button. We don't need this anymore. And let's change this to all available. And let's try this and see what happens. So what it should do, it should open an Excel file, and it should also open this web page. It should extract all of this data and put it inside of the file called crypto. So let's go into the file called crypto, and we can see that we have all of the data, just as we did have with the other method that we saw in the beginning of this video. Now let's create a loop that is going to allow us to extract all of the values from all of the different pages. So just a little bit as of a reminder, there is page 1, and there is, I assume, 246 pages. So having 246 pages, we will have to create a loop that goes from 1 to 246. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's search for loop. That is going to start at 1 and is going to end at 246, or alright, and it's going to increment by 1. So let's move all of our different things inside of our loop. So let's move this inside of our loop, and after that we also need a way to change the page on which we are. So to do that, let's add the action of navigating. So I'm not really sure how it's called, but I think I can find it here. So yeah, there we go. Go to web page. So what this is going to allow us is go to the different links that we want to navigate to. So let me get an example link. So let's get this link, and let's add this link right here. Now we're going to change this to a variable that is going to increment every time our loop cycles through. So let's see what I mean by that. So to do that, let's set a variable. So let's set this variable, and let's start naming our variables and stuff a little bit more meaningful so that we don't get lost. So we're going to call this URL, and we're going to set it to 1. So let's save this, and let's move this outside of our loop. After that, we are going to also need to increment our variable by 1. So we are going to have to increase the variable. So let's add this in the end. Why are we doing this? We are increasing the variable because the variable is going to change from 1. We're going to add 2. We're going to add another 1. It's going to be 3, and then it's going to be 4. Every cycle of the loop, the variable is going to increase or increment by 1. So this is how we do that. We will select the variable that we want to increment. That is the URL variable, and we're just going to increment it by 1. So every time our robot kind of flows through here, it is going to increase this variable by 1. Therefore, our navigate page here is going to change from 2 to 3. It's not going to change like this. Obviously, we're going to have to add in our variable URL. And this is a dynamic. This is going to make it dynamic. So it's going to change from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 every time we increase our variable that we have created right here. I hope that is clear. If it's not, please leave me some comments in the comment section below. And also, if you are enjoying the video so far, remember to give me a thumbs up and to subscribe to the channel. And give yourself also a pat on the back, because you are amazing for learning automation and RPA. These are the skills that you are going to require in the times to come. So let's continue now with the video and see what happens. I think this should already be pretty good. So let's already see what happens. I don't really want to do it for 146 times. So let's just try doing it for cycling through 3 loops. So let's close a couple of files and also a couple of browsers, and let's launch this process and see what happens. So we are launching Excel, we are launching the browser at the same time. We are scrolling all the way down. We are changing, I believe we're extracting the data, we're putting in an Excel sheet. Then I think it has broken somewhere. So let's see what happens. So there has been an error here. All right, let's see what the error is and let's try to fix it. All right, to Excel sheet, increase a URL. Okay, so this has failed to extract data from web page. Now let's see why that is. Let's open the web page and let's scroll all the way down. Let's reset these values. Let's select the Bitcoin. Let's select the price and let's select the change. I think that should do it. And let's save the values to the Excel spreadsheet. So probably it was not working because we had pagination enabled and it did not find the pagination element. So this time probably it should work. So we have opened the Excel file, we have opened a different web page. We are trying to get the elements from page 1. All right, we have went to page 2. Now we should get all of the elements from page 2 and so forth. And all of the different elements should be getting attached somewhere. So let's see what is going on actually. Why do we have so many different files open?
A little longer than a few minutes later.
So after a little bit of debugging, I have found the error and I have managed to fix this process. So everything is pretty much the same, except in the extract data from web page, we are not going to be saving it to an Excel spreadsheet, but to a variable. So we're going to click save. Once that happens, we're going to have a new variable and we obviously have to go and change in where we write the data to our Excel spreadsheet. We're going to write this variable right here. So we click save and that is going to fix our process. We also have to do one last thing, and that is move to the top the get first column and row in the Excel worksheet. Now with this, our process should work. So let's run it and see what happens. It should launch the Excel file. It should launch Google Chrome. It should read the elements on the first web page. And then after that, it should go to web page number 2. So let's see what is happening. It is going to web page number 2. And it has extracted the data from, let's see from what, so it has extracted the data from column from Bitcoin and from the other web page. Now we can see that for some reason it is inserting the data right here. So let's select all of these values. Let's save this file as this, close it, and let's try to make just one final adjustment to our process. Or how about you make the last final adjustment to the process and see if you can fix it for yourself. Now, I hope that you have enjoyed this video and that you have learned a really cool way of extracting data from any web page. Now you could use this on Yahoo Finance, you can use it on LinkedIn, you can use it almost on any web page that has data. So it is a pretty powerful tool in your automation portfolio. I would also like to thank Gonzalez Eladio and also Jesus Miguel and Kevin McShansey for all of their support and all of their positive encouragements and critiques on the videos that helped me to make this video better. So a big shout out to you guys, Gonzalez, Miguel and Kevin. Thank you so much for subscribing, and also thank you to all of the other subscribers. I will be giving them a shout out as well in the following videos. So if you haven't already done so, subscribe, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you for watching and see you in the next automation video.